It's pretty slow, the projectile speed, and you don't really add too much variables as a control hero when it comes to the late game. It's not like some supports that can simply just grab an Aghanim Scepter and continue to scale, or certain supports that can instantly initiate for you. Like, this is a hero that has a slow-moving stun. The auras are pretty good. I know people in the chat are going to complain, like, oh, well, you know, the Wave of Terror and the Vengeance are excellent. Well, there's a reason why this hero doesn't get picked, so...
Virtus.pro, they do start out this game number 2 on a decent foot. They did manage to counter out the ward here in this bottom lane that Vici Gaming placed to start with. So the Darkseer will not have that vision to go on. Looks like we're going to have a contest here at the top lane. Virtus.pro are sitting on this high ground, and there's not much way Vici Gaming can really know. But who's your bet on for a first blood?
I think when it comes to just a straight-on fight, I think VP might be a little bit stronger. They don't have a straight-up reliable stun, but with the chilling touch, I don't think there's any way that Vici Gaming is going to fight into this.
And that's why immediately they back out. Bottom lane, though, they will have a contest. Illidan, unfortunately, he's not able to get that Battering Rune, and now he's stuck close melee range with Ice, and he's taking so much damage from that Ion Shell. Even FY's coming in with his boots. Somebody's got to save him. Lil's going to be able to come in and get the Grave Chill to slow him down, but Illidan, he just took 430 damage from that.
Yeah, and he's going to have to rotate all the way around. They're going to walk onto this high ground.
More awkward. FY is here now with a double Ion Shell ready to go, but the 3 heroes of VP will be able to push him back. But that's a full lane that looks like that they're going to miss out. The creeps already clashing, and VP not even close to being able to get there in time.
Yeah, and I think Ice looks at this situation and says, okay, I'm not actually going to get there in time. FY, though, is going to be able to soak up a lot of this experience, so he's probably just going to go to the jungle, stack it up a few times, and this is how he's going to get farm.
Meanwhile, DK Phobos does successfully pull the creep wave, and it looks like he's just going to tank it, so the creep equilibrium does go to his favor, and he'll sit right in front of his tier 1 tower. Our mid matchup is probably going to be one of the most interesting ones. Of course, G, very familiar with Queen of Pain, knows her pretty much in and out. Should be able to find some openings as the Lina against the Queen of Pain, one of the few heroes that can match up against her.
When it comes to just the straight CSing, it's a little bit difficult for the Lina because of her slow projectile speed. But when it comes to just flat harassment, like, G is so strong. Being able to use the Dragon Slave and the stun combination, and something that we haven't really talked about is the precision aura is going to be quite good for this hero. Already bumping up over 70 damage a hit. There's almost no way for the Queen of Pain to trade effectively.
So you can really abuse that extra almost 100 range advantage that you have over the Queen of Pain, harassing her down with those steady right clicks. Meanwhile, Virtus.pro, obviously, they've got some greedy cores in both the Visage and the Ancient Apparition, so they're going to need to do some very efficient pulling on the Radiant side jungle.
Yeah, what ends up happening in this matchup usually is the Queen of Pain can trade by getting some right clicks in, but she's going to make a pretty aggressive jump forward, but Ice just threatening there. Not a whole lot that he can do in this position.
He will at least establish control over the top rune, does get the bounty for himself, but this does leave Super out in the cold, as he doesn't actually have enough for the bottle yet.
The one benefit to all of this for VP, though, is that DK Phobos is more or less getting free farm here at this top lane. He's already up to 8 CS of his own, and he's getting a ton of XP. And this is a hero that, in the last game, we saw almost completely shut out. He wasn't able to scale or get any farm, but in this game, I really feel like he's going to pack on the levels.
Yeah, so we may see an early rotation by him once he picks up level 6 and trying to threaten that Queen of Pain. Meanwhile, FNG looks like he's been slowly but surely right-clicking down this medium camp. Kind of odd, but I guess he's got nothing better to do with the Night Stalker roaming around and that bottom lane not holding any hero. Looks like Ice is actually going to rotate out of the jungle now.
Yeah, part of the problem is that you can't really harass out as this Ancient Apparition because their lane isn't quite strong enough. If the Night Stalker and the Darkseer are here, they're pretty much just going to kill you if you're an Ancient Apparition. Whereas Lil has a lot more opportunities to get away with the Grave Chill. They're going to go for this mid gank. There's a pretty decent timing as the creep wave is going to come in. G is playing quite aggressively because of how low Super is, but he might just surge FY forward and set this up.
This should be an easy setup for the Shadow Strike. They do have Lil Vici.
He's going to get
the first blood on the Super first, and now they have the combo body block by Lil.
He's going to get the bottle off.
Away. They turn around, get Ice. FY comes in. It's
he's not even going to get it.
He's trying to get the kill, but God survives. Oh, the Shadow Strike takes him out, but Vici Gaming lose 3 in the process, and no one is there to collect that kill.
They don't even get the experience out of that. Well played by G, holding his ground, understanding with the drawer.
DK Phobos gets the charge away as well. Virtus Pro making the moves in the early game to establish an early lead.
I mean, that was so well played by G. From a mid player's perspective, he just holds his ground. He understands he's got enough damage. Super only has a paltry 3 armor, not going to be able to trade hits. That was so well set up, and what was looking like a free smoke gank just instantly turns into 3 heroes dead.
They had the bottle coming in for Super as well, but they didn't want to wait for it, as I believe that smoke was running out. Now, of course, this is the first nighttime. FY only being level 2. If only he was able to collect the experience for that Lina kill, you'd see him be a lot more dangerous, but Illidan is left alone in this bottom lane. I'm sure he's not going to poke his head out, though. He realizes how dangerous this lane could be, the Darkseer Night Stalker duo.
The Drow has already paid off for them in the laning phase, just because it was able to set up for so many different kills in that mid lane. But this is the one disadvantage of playing this as a safe lane hero, is that you can't aggressively push out as if you were a Gyrocopter or a Queen of Pain, because there's so many different combinations that can just kill you. Like, they're just gonna double Ion Shell, maybe try to go on him. FY though, it's gonna run into some problems as DK Phobos is already starting the charge.
Yeah, unfortunately he's only
gotta
level
get so
4.
lucky.
So he's not really going to be able to keep FY in one spot. And again, this duo is still able to stick around and fight against the tri-lane if they try and go for it. The Iron Shell's preemptively laid out in the creep wave. All they have to do is stick close. FNG was hiding himself in the side trees here in this top lane, collecting some experience, and will show himself to try and get some CS, and looks like even harassing Burning a bit.
Part of the problem with this tri-lane is that there's no real kill potential. But this mid lane...
Oh, the stun on the Super, he will be able to blink back, but they're just going to keep on going. DK Phobos, he's leading the charge here, and G, he'll finish him off with a Laguna Blade, picks up yet another kill. And sure enough, G proving his worth as a mid laner. Now bottom lane, Lil, a small bit of action as FY goes onto him, but a Grave Chill as the response is good enough.
Yeah, and this Darkseer has actually been set pretty far behind now. He's got OK CS, but because of that failed gank attempt mid, he hasn't gotten as much as he should have in the laning phase. And this is a hero that you can't just straight up sack. And this dual lane aggression was meant to work out pretty well, because if you look at VP's lineup, they don't have any stuns at that bottom lane. How are they ever going to set up for a kill? They always have Surge, or the Night Stalker is fast enough to run away at night. And so Vici Gaming, it's hard for them to die, but they expected to get some kills out of this, especially on a hero like Drow Ranger, where you can just double Ion Shell and chase her off. But Illidan's done such a good job of his positioning so far.
And G is not going to mess around with the Laguna Blade on cooldown. He'll actually clear through this hard camp stack, and DK Phobos will assume that mid lane for a while, just getting some of that solo experience.
So something we should talk about once again, though, is this safe lane. As this Phantom Lancer, he's got a fair amount of farm. The problem right now for Vici Gaming is that the Lina is much further ahead than they expected. Like in that last game, even though it was 5-1, we saw a lot of different opportunities for Vici. Like, we talked about how the game isn't really started until Super gets his Radiance, right? Or when Burning starts to participate in fights. And once we saw that happen, Vici Gaming really turned the game around. But in this game, the Queen of Pain is so far behind the Lina right now. She's 1,500 net worth already, just at 7 minutes into the game, that this is fairly game-changing when it just comes to the straight-up laning phase. And Super's going to try to make the rotation, but they've got to get something out of this. And Fenrir's already going to lose the smoke. Super's going to try to hide away, but you have to get a kill out of this rotation.
There is something that we do have to mention. The change-up, the interaction between Lina and Phantom Lancer is actually more favorable to the Lina now, right? Because you have that slight animation for Doppelganger. It does allow a chance for you to be able to hit the Yule's Light Strike Array combination on that carry.
Yeah, FNG right now continues to soak up XP in this top lane, and this is quite a fast level 6 for a hero that you'll usually see it around the 10 to 12 minute mark. But for him to be able to get at the 8 minute mark, 9 minute mark, this is going to mean that the Queen of Pain simply just can't survive. If she gets caught by a stun from G, it's an easy setup opportunity. Same with DK Phobos' charges. He's going to go for it at top.
Yeah, Burning, they do have almost the level 6 on the Ancient Apparition. He does manage to pop the Doppelganger at the right time. But that said, G was coming in. Looks like FY spotted the Lina's rotation over, so...
Yeah, he's instantly going to TP out, but they wanted to try to use the Ancient Apparition ult if possible. And once again, like last game, Vici Gaming, they're trying to get a established control of the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, they're going to go for a dive here at the bottom lane. Leading in, get some vision onto Lil, stunning him up with a DD. They'll quickly clean him up, and the Sonic Wave is able to get that kill. Illidan coming forward now, challenging Super. Is outdoing him, and Damage might be able to get the kill before the end. The Ice Blast coming in, and they will clean up the carry. Looks like no one's going to die in return on the side of Vici Gaming. A well-executed tower dive.
Yeah, there just simply wasn't enough time for a response. They actually saw that the Lina had used that,
Oh, nice pickoff. DK Phobos gets in range with a Z-charge and hits the Nether Strike to complete the Queen of Pain kill.
that was so awkward because I think she saw him run in and DK Phobos was like, no, I'm just going to get this kill for free on the way through. And as I was saying, G had TP'd mid and they had seen that. So they probably thought, okay, he went for a rotation and failed. Let's go for our own. There's zero chance that they're going to try to defend this. But at the same time, they do take the mid tower. So in some ways, that's sort of even. Because now VP can just constantly control their bottom tower and their mid tower.
Yeah.
And try to get control back of their jungle.
Oh, nice Ice Blast. That's a beauty. Ice. He may just tick down to this one. Let's see if FNG can get a little bit more damage. Doesn't look like it, and the ticks will not be enough.
No, at 100 HP, he's perfectly fine. It's surprising, actually, the amount that you have to get him low at the level 1 ulti. It just looks like a lot once you start to build up HP. But at bottom, Burning's just going to pick off Lil for free, and this might just mean they're going to lose their bottom tower now.
Gaining control, if VP want to be able to keep that tower, I mean, they still have time to take this tier 1 in the top lane and rotate over with Vici Gaming no longer having a glyph. But it would take some mass rotations. Well, they're going to start with 1 here. The glyph is enough. They're going to try and go with G. Barely missing on that stun. The Ice Blast also misses. Somehow Burning got his way through all of that. The Laguna Blade gets laid out. They still have the charge on him. Burning Vision. There it is. He just could not juke through those trees thanks to the Charge of Darkness coming out from the Spirit Breaker, and G easily picks up yet another one. That's going to be an incredibly fast Eul Scepter.
What an insane hero Lina is. You miss every ability, but you just cast the ultimate. They didn't even hit the AA blast on him, but at this phase, he's so strong right now. He's level 10. His right-click damage is no joke either with the Precision Aura, and that's what enables him to grab that kill. And now he's got the Eul Scepter too.
Illidan is going for those kind of early stat builds, obviously. Treads a Wraith Band, a second one that goes into the Ring of Aquila. We're talking about an early BKB, most likely, for our Dry Ranger, right?
I think he can maybe get away with that 4-staff build that he was doing earlier, because it would allow him to separate between the Darkseer and the Night Stalker, and those are really the only ways that you can get initiated on, especially with Ice being as underfarmed as he is. So that could potentially be the route that he decides to go. For me, that's what's a little bit more concerning is just simply that Vici Gaming, it's not even the Drow Ranger that's the issue right now. It's the fact that the Lina's already up to 6,400 net worth at 11 minutes. I can't stress enough, this is so quick right now for that kind of timing, and he's about to hit the level 11 at just 11 minutes into the game.
This just means a guaranteed kill with that big bump in damage.
He's going to go for the smoke.
Blade. Solo smoking out. Heading up to top, FY is the one farming there. And it's just about to be nighttime too. They could take away some of that secondary nighttime for the Night Stalker. They feel pretty confident. Charge coming out. He's still going to keep going here. Super is going to be almost done up. Fenrir is able to interrupt that combo, but they still get off the ultimate now. Lil's going to be able to come in with birds. We've seen this story before, and once again, the Queen of Pain is going to go down. DK Phobos is the target, but they do have the Ice Blast coming in. DK Phobos turns, will get the charge out. Looks like the Ice Blast missed on FY, but they'll still be able to get the kill. Lil keeps on going. He's got another nuke. Will be able to finish off the Vegetable Spirit. Turns out of Burning. It will try and find him too. The birds don't have the sun just yet, but it looks like Burning, doppelganger away, does have the wand and will be able to get out with a little bit of extra heal. Illidan's trying to catch up desperately. Will have his down. Now the charge, the Lil, they're going to be able to catch him out the slow, and they have just barely enough. No, Ice. He saves him with the mech and gets Burning away to safety.
What an insane chase by both teams. FNG understanding that if he can get another Ice Vortex off, maybe that slows enough just to connect with the birds, but the right-click damage just isn't quite there for them. Still, a pretty decent fight for VP as they put a lot of pressure. They kill the Queen of Pain, who continues to lag behind in net worth. And if they were able to get the Phantom Lancer, that would have been the icing on the cake. But just the amount of pressure that they're putting up this game, even if it's not as favorable as their 5-1 start from the last game, it feels like their attack is a little bit more balanced.
Vici Gaming going to go for a 4-man smoke now. Once again, trying to maintain control over that Radiant side jungle, but VP, very similar story to game number 1. They've been making a lot of excursions into the Dire jungle. And charge coming out, DK Phobos. Oh dear, he's going for super. Might just be able to get this kill with the Ice Blast over the top. He needs a little bit more damage, but no. Vici Gaming will control DK Phobos, and super will survive this time around.
DK Phobos is so unlucky. Every single time he went for a charge in the last game too, he just happened to run into 5 heroes, and he probably just thinks to himself like, damn, I am so dead.
Create some space though for Virtus Pro. They're going to go for a mid lane push, which is exactly why Vici Gaming are quick to push out that bottom lane. They may not want to fight around this tier 2, but if they can make a trade-off, it'll be worth it.
But Vici Gaming, they gotta make a concerted effort right now to get their mid player involved in some kills right now, because the Queen of Pain is pretty far behind the rest of the field. Just level 8 at 14 minutes into the game. This is actually equal to both the Visage and the Ancient Apparition. That's the worst part of it all. Yeah. Even if your net worth is ahead, what does it really matter when you're at the same experience share of both supports on the enemy team?
And it seems like Super is still going for that Orchid build, which, you know, is looked at as being an all-right counter to the Lina. She does the Yules, you respond with a Silence, and she's only able to get out the Light Strike Array. But a very late Orchid could be utterly meaningless.
Yeah, once you have enough HP on G, what does it actually matter? Like, he's going to go for the Aghanim Scepter of his own, or he's just going to blow you up in that way.
FY, be running into G here, and in 9 times, you get a long duration silence, 5 seconds on him.
Oh, he's going to make this right.
No, it's going to be hot. It'll have both the light record. They delete. Be a good play. Now charge coming. Lane is bumping, burning. DK go actually pop on. What? Get Lil's on series with Visage. Trying to but back up. Little doesn't know. Sitting in good.
Great rotation by recognize that Ernie will accept to that, and even with he puts so much damage, he's getting a bit. He's gonna
realize the guy gets late there, and the elbow comes out. Controlled up by Lewis, and they get that. Hitting. He doesn't have. And now, wants to read. Got was a little lucky, but it's still not worth the trade.
The problem with the top side mech, they for a second they did. He did have the mech, and still on down for another 2 seconds. But that top fight, that really does super how many levels he has. Maybe if he had a level 4, he would have enough time to refresh it. Even with that, his blink is still cool.
We're seeing this. He got some reliable out of that, but I'm just not sure. I mean, you think you forget about that will never happen after?
I think or it's I think right now is you'll stir and like that. I feel like you just off you see the physical damage. If you look at the take, I don't want to get into so that games tap control, and I don't the Orchid also for that. Anymore, but or pop get a kill. The single time she gets sort of engaged pop for she dies.
VPD has 600. Do you going like that? It's just MP so that kind of item for an ancient apparition because sometimes increase the level Aghanim Scepter with the reliability if you haven't controlled even some of the concept that we from ancient apparition they go with the Force Staff.
You might decide to go because the Aghanim Scepter necessary in this already counts a lot of what Vici rely on. For example, the mech pivotal their strategy right now because the pain doesn't have enough form that and you want to be able to back up when swap. Big problem is they're not getting any. They're not any good trades. He's really under and really unfarmed right now. Only has 833 gold at 15 minutes into the game. And yeah, you slow down the Lina a little bit, but nobody's really touching her net worth.
So as we are kind of approaching the mid-game here, let's take a look at some of those metrics. 3,000 gold lead, 4,000 experience, not really much. Looks like we are going to go for the unpause now. See if we can't try things out. But I kind of like the idea of the Force Staff on the Ancient Apparition, just because it would give that extra mobility to help the Draw Ranger get out of the way. As you can see, right now he's just got the Morbid Mask, but I'm sure BKB is going to be on the horizon eventually. Completes the full Helmet Dominator. And this may, is this going to be more about stacking or just bringing in, say, an Alpha Wolf for even more damage?
I think you can just bring in the creep, and the lifesteal allows you to trade hits so effectively right now. You don't really need damage or anything like that. You just need to be able to survive. Like the free armor that you get almost entirely nullifies, for example, the Wave of Terror from the Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah.
But what is FNG doing right now is he just continues to buy wards. That single null talisman.
The completed Solar Crest for Lil means that we've got a very early Roche-taking team, especially
they're going to run into each other right now.
Is it going to work out for Vici Gaming? G is the first one in. Ice Blast gets laid out. Doesn't really clip anybody, but they've already taken out the Vengeful Spirit. They're going to go for more. Burning is the target, but DK Phobos is actually being rebuffed. There's a good set of wall that's actually dealing a lot of damage to VP as they're actually forced to retreat here. Looks like they're going to be losing the Lil. Just tries to get whatever damage you can on the Super, but it's not going to be enough. On the right-hand side, nice two-man Light Strike array, but it doesn't manage to save the Lina as FY gets charged up by DK Phobos. They're committing for this kill. Will be able to just barely get it towards the end, but Vici Gaming are just running away with the game. Illidan's actually taking out Super, and he's going to try TP away, but the Lance actually completes it in the end, and doesn't look like our Spirit Breaker gets out either. Ice setting up the wall that wins the fight for Vici Gaming.
I mean, VP were in such an awkward position because they were caught on the low ground, but instead of resetting the fight, they continue to fight onto the high. They walk multiple times. There's almost no chance at that point. You have to stick together because Ven's isolated, and they take that fight so split. VP, they take the fight, and reset, probably would have won the game. They continue to push their own ground.
So we're another small spot gives them time to break in the fight. Talking about be able to take very quick road shot at Vici Gaming network back into their favor. They're now a little bit more, and we'll feel a lot more confident going for some of these fights now.
If that fight probably doesn't happen, or if they win that fight, then they immediately go for the Roshan, they get a lot of momentum. You can continue to go take all the tier 2 towers out, and then you probably have enough of a momentum swing that you can just carry it into the late game. But the problem right there is that when you fight onto the high ground like that, like you notice that Vici Gaming, they smoke up, but they wait. Because they know that VP are eventually going to go walk up there. And every single time we've seen in all of these games, the smoke placement has been better for Vici Gaming so far.
Right.
Because they take advantage of the high ground. They know that they can just place the Darkseer wall down. And it was probably a really good Darkseer wall, but they didn't have to continue passing through it. But at that phase, they were all clumped up on the left side. The Queen of Pain just blinks in, gets really aggressive, and no chance for them to win.
All right, well, it seems like we're going to be heading back on into the game as both teams are ready to go.
What a huge momentum swing right now. Like the net worth almost climbs to just 0.
Yeah, Vici Gaming, especially since they do have such a sizable amount of late game in that Phantom Lancer. And really good heroes to just close the gap with the Draw Ranger. It's a very fragile lineup for VP. They could very easily fall apart past that 30-minute marker. So it's very important for them to gain an early lead and hold on to that lead in fights like that. End up just throwing it away. VP are still going to look towards an early Roshan.
Yeah, now this Lina's... She still has the lead, but it's not as disruptive as it used to be. People are starting to catch up right now with the Phantom Lancer. And the Darkseer, surprisingly enough, are starting to close that gap. And now Ice has a really good amount of farm. They've got the initiation tool in the Blink Dagger now. You don't have to rely on the Vengeful Spirit swap. VP, they've got to be careful, but it actually looks like Vici Gaming didn't expect this aggressive of a maneuver.
I'm not sure. Super was kind of drawn on the map around that Roshan pit. Maybe they just decided to give it up intentionally, thinking that they wouldn't be able to win a secondary fight, and they should just be happy with what they got.
They didn't have the Night Stalker Knight. They probably still fear the fact that VP, they put out a lot of damage right now with the Dro.
Yeah.
But Super's going to get charged up at top. Will the AA Ice Blast follow?
They did ping out where FY was farming. Super is going to be hit by that
17%.
one. Let's see if he gets the 17%. Oh, he gets the bash, and that's the kill on Super. VP feeling a little lucky, and that'll help them push out this top lane and maybe go for a tier 2 tower off the back of the Aegis.
DK Phobos finally completes that charge. He doesn't run into 5 heroes this time.
Immediately charges him right after, going for Ice, but does cancel it.
I feel like you just quit the game at that point. If DK Phobos runs into another 5-man smoking, they were anticipating it. He would have been so depressed.
We've got a Helm of Iron Will, our Ancient Apparition, going for Veil Discord in order to reveal the Phantom Lancer. And they don't have bad magic damage. Obviously, the Lena's going to get the biggest benefit out of that one. But of course, the important thing is revealing the Phantom Lancer, which one's real.
Yeah, they're going to take down this mid tower so fast. They have the Aegis still on G. He's playing really far up. Aghanim's almost completed on him. After they take down this tower, he should just about have it.
Jeez, that Aghanim's completed by 21 minutes for Lena.
That's really good timing.
Yeah, especially since she's actually died 3 different times.
It's pretty close in net worth to the Bloodstone. It's just 700 less.
Oh,
hold that thought.
He runs into an invisible Spirit Breaker, doesn't expect. Oh, the charge comes out. Instead of the ultimate, now pops another strike. Will be able to catch Burning. The Ice Blast over the top and turns the kill. They dig into vacuum wall of Sonic Wave over the top, but VP still looking healthy enough to turn around and fight. Ice has actually been stunned up. He has another stun. Fenrir will take that sacrifice, but he's actually enough. Ice is still charged up. He ends up going down anyway. Fenrir couldn't save his ally. Throws himself needlessly into the flames, and Virtus Pro take another 3 kills.
And this time, Virtus Pro were able to reset the fight a little bit, and being able to take down the Phantom Lancer off the bat means that Vici Gaming, at best, are fighting 4v5.
Illidan, he knows what's up. The charge comes out on an FY, but I doubt they're going to be diving deep. Illidan, thanks to the catapult change up, where it's no longer magic immune, just magic resistance, you can dominate it. And he's going to bring double catapults for this push uphill.
Things have changed.
Have indeed, with Solar Crest making it even tankier. We'll take the tower shots, keeping both catapults alive. And with the amount of damage they have from the Drow plus the familiars.
He actually popped his aura
tier 3 tower so quickly. The range Rax is going to fall.
Oh, they don't have glyph for this.
They're really going to fight. There's still an Aegis here for another 2 minutes. They start poking at Illidan, hoping to be able to get the swap out into a bad position. The Ice Blast is coming in for the acting to intercept, but the Ice Blast hits on 2, and Lil, he's locking up. He's that charge right through. Now Super's going to be the target. Can they get the 17%? It's not even needed. They take out 3, will take over the melee Rax, and VP, staying strong here in game number 2, have taken the early control and are not letting up off the gas pedal.
And in that fight, they just had so many consecutive spells land for them. FNG over the top with the Ice Blast. DK Phobos hitting multiple heroes on his way to his main target, and G double-man Light Strike after 2-man Light Strike.
And now Virtus Pro, they can play this pretty damn safe. They can go afford to just focus on some of these outer towers, wait for the next Roshan, because they've shut down Vici Gaming so much, the Phantom Lancer is an imminent threat, like he normally would be.
Yeah, and you saw the Ventral Spirit Swap. It was incredibly useful there. They were able to kill the Drow Ranger quite quickly, but the problem is they were so grouped up around him, trying to kill him, that it just made them such an easy target.
And Lil, who completed the Solar Crest not so long ago, was already 2/3 of the way through his Aghanim Scepter. And Ancient Apparition with Veil of Discord is now looking to go what I believe is going to be a 4-staff.
The problem right now for Vici Gaming is FNG doesn't even really need the Veil. Like, if you look at Burning's items, he doesn't actually hit for very much. He's only got the Yasha for damage, so you don't have to worry about him quite yet.
Yeah, and his illusions aren't tanky at all. They just get wiped out by a lot of the AoE from VP. So identifying the PL is actually rather easy. But Vici Gaming, they know they have to stem this blood flow. They're giving up too much gold to Virtus Pro. They're going to try and fight around this tier 1 tower. They pop the Nighttime Darkness.
In the previous fight, the one thing that Vici Gaming didn't have going for them is that Ice had already used the wall vacuum combo at top, so the wall was still down. But this time around, they've got it up. I think VP are going to be a little bit more hesitant in fighting straight into that combination. Because if he catches them with a really nice vacuum wall, it's not like anything VP has can stop that. Like, they don't have a 4-staff, I believe. They don't have a mechanism to instantly heal after that combination. So you've got to be kind of careful still.
They will have BKB Now coming in for Illidan, and looks like BKB is actually not that far away for DK Phobos either. G has 2,200 gold. Where do you go from here as the Lina? Because if the Phantom Lancer was actually doing more split pushing, we actually used to see like Shadow Blades being picked up, but it seems like so unnecessary since VP can just go uphill and end the game potentially.
Yeah, that's the problem right now for Vici Gaming, is that because VP can continue to just apply pressure, that it's hard for Burning to just reliably leave his base. Also, you can't really go for the split push when you're playing against DK Phobos and the Spirit Breaker.
True.
Because the combination of just that hero alone, you get lucky as we saw top. Plus the Ice Blast is enough to kill pretty much anybody on Vici, maybe with the exception of Burning.
So just make sure that you can't die in a team fight, pick up yet another BKB. If you get all 3 cores with BKBs and your supports actually have a good host of utility items and added damage.
No, BKB is definitely the item. It's the item that allows you to continue to scale and make use of your items. That's the number one thing, is that the item BKB, it allows you to get off your ultimate, get off your Dragon Slave at least once or twice, and put out some damage. Because you don't want a hero that has 12k net worth and you can't utilize any of it because you get stunned once.
Radiant's top tower.
Tier 2 tower easily being cleaned up as it's still daytime for another 3.5 minutes. So Virtus Pro, I'm not sure if they want to push uphill without Roshan. It is coming up in 2 to 3 minutes. Potential spawn time starts in 1.5.
Yeah, Lil almost has the Aghanim Scepter too. I think you just pump the brakes a little bit. The Lina's about to have her BKB completed as well. You just wait a little bit, farm out around the map. They should really get the Aghanims completed though on the Visage before they go for the high ground. There's absolutely no reason to go for it before that, especially when you've got a Drow that has this much of the precision aura and her ultimate.
Yeah. Virtus Pro still posturing aggressively here, sitting in the Dire secret shop and taking over their ancients, so they're
Illidan's got to be
continuing
careful.
the farm, but does have most of his allies behind him, and Lil is actually sitting farther forward. You're gonna get the charge onto Burning. He should be able to doppelganger before the charge completes. And Nether Strike, not going to be used by DK Phobos. He knows that even if he does try and go that one, it's going to be really far forward, not a fight that VP want to take, especially with the saving mechanism of the swap ready to go on Fenrir.
For me in this fight, what I'm just watching out for is Ice 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 almost entirely, because this is the hero that's going to set up everything for Vici Gaming. And when you're playing the offlaner and you're a player like Ice Ice Ice, your team's going to give you free reign. They're going to say, whatever opportunities you see, if you see a good timing for the vacuum wall, just go in. We'll follow you in right after.
Is this, we don't see too many Aghanims, but it seems like this wouldn't be a bad Aghanims game with a heavy right clicker like the Drow Ranger.
I think it's okay right now. It would definitely pump up a lot of your damage.
Yeah.
I doubt you might go for something like the Octarine core, but it seems a little bit more likely.
Vici Gaming, popping yet another darkness.
You don't want to walk up.
Yeah.
Even with the smoke, there's almost no chance you win that fight.
They're wrapping around, but Virtus Pro are actually scribbling around on that dire side map. Looks like they want to push uphill as soon as this darkness fades.
Yeah, they've got the BKB now on the Lina. I believe Lil has almost completed that Aghanim Scepter, but they're just going to give the Solar Crest to Illidan. And they've got to be careful though. They don't have any Force Staffs or anything that can displace him. So if he gets swapped out like this.
Yeah, Illidan gets targeted, but he pops the BKB, now makes the turn. Fenrir, he's definitely going down. Burning has been silenced up. Super's being controlled up by DK Phobos. They turn their attention to that core. Now VP actually get a pretty decent vacuum surrounding them, but it's still the BKB from God, putting himself on the front lines, able to take out yet another core. FY's going to go down on the right-hand side. Virtus Pro, though, they've made enough of a dent. They're going to start retreating now. Don't want to be sticking around that wall. They've already forced one buyback, and they can take this tier 3 tower at their leisure.
Yeah, and they're just going to call
there it is, GG. Virtus Pro, you're talking about pumping the brakes. They be waiting for Roshan, but Virtus Pro, they just cut the brake line. They keep on going through and take that second lane of Rax and force the GG by 28.5 minutes. And just as many of the analysts predicted, and of course you and I, Blitz, this series is easily going to be one of the closest of the winner bracket. We're going to go to a full game 3.
These teams are so close to each other, and this time around, they were able to utilize their early game advantage and finally start to snowball into the mid game. The Roche control is so important for a team like this, and the fact that they were able to get it, take so many objectives right after that, Great play.